From silent rooftops to national stages, from whispered lullabies to a song that made Zambia cry. This is the story of Chanda, the spirit of the river, and the voice that refused to be silenced. The sun dipped low over the Zambezi River, casting a molten reflection across the water as Chanda balanced a basket of vegetables on her head. Her younger siblings, Naledi and Tumalo, chased each other barefoot through the tall grass, their laughter drifting on the breeze. Chanda's heart ached with both pride and fatigue. Being their sister had turned her into their mother, protector, and provider all at once. Her dreams of music, of stage lights and songs, were now whispers she hummed only at sunset. Every evening, she would climb to the rooftop of their modest compound and sing to the sky. Her voice, full and haunting, would drift across the village, blending with the distant calls of fishermen and the rustling of banana leaves. No one knew the source of the ethereal melodies. Locals called her the spirit of the river. Chanda smiled quietly whenever she heard it. Her gift was her secret, and secrets, in her world, were safer kept than shared. As a dusty roadside stall in Lusaka, a crackling radio announced something that made Chanda freeze mid-step. Zambia's Voice of Tomorrow, our national youth singing contest, is back. Win a recording deal and full university sponsorship. Submit your voice demo today. Her heart raced. Naledi noticed her change in expression and tugged at her sleeve. You want to do it, don't you? Chanda shook her head with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. That night, however, something stirred. As the children slept, Chanda recorded a song on her battered phone, her voice trembling yet powerful. She didn't tell anyone, not even her best friend Lombi. Submitting the file felt like tossing her soul into the river. She had no expectation of hearing back, but the river, like destiny, has a rhythm of its own. 3 weeks passed, and life trudged on as always. Chanda nearly forgot about the contest submission. Amid school runs, washing clothes, and cooking, Nshima. Then one afternoon, an unknown number lit up her phone screen. "Hello," she asked hesitantly. A warm, professional voice replied. "Am I speaking with Chanda Mwansa? This is Zambia Broadcasting Network. You've been selected for the final auditions in Lusaka. Congratulations." Chanda nearly dropped the phone. Her legs trembled beneath her. She stumbled outside, staring at the banana trees as though they'd suddenly started to sing too. For a moment, all the worries about the children, money, and judgment from neighbors faded. Her voice had been heard, and someone believed it was worth something. Chanda finally shared the news with Lombi, her closest friend, and the only person she trusted with her full truth. They sat under their favorite jacaranda tree, its blossoms falling like violet snow. "You did what?" Lombi gasped, half shocked and half elated. "You submitted a song without telling me. Girl, you better take me with you to Lusaka." They both laughed, and for the first time in months, Chanda felt light. Lombi promised to help care for Naledi and Tumalo if Chanda made it to the next round. The thought of leaving them, even for a few days, weighed heavily, but Lombi's promise gave her strength. Perhaps some dreams did deserve chasing. In a sleek broadcasting studio high above Lusaka, Tinashe Nkomo slouched in a chair, listening to demo recordings with feigned interest. A child of wealth and legacy, his father owned half the cities, billboards, and the country's most luxurious resort chain. But behind his designer shirts and polished shoes was a boy drowning in silence. When Chanda's song played, something stirred in him. Her voice cut through the static of his world like a warm breeze on cold glass. It wasn't just technical perfection, it was raw emotion. He sat up, rewound it, and listened again. "Find her," he murmured to the assistant. "We need to hear that live." Chanda packed her single travel bag with trembling hands, folding the few clothes she owned neatly. Her siblings watched her with wide eyes, unsure if they should celebrate or cry. Naledi clutched her hand tightly, whispering, "Sing for all of us." It felt like a sacred charge. She hugged them tightly, kissed their foreheads, and promised to call every day, Lombi walked her to the bus stop, arm in arm. "Don't forget us when you become famous," she teased. Chanda grinned through her anxiety. The rickety bus smelled of diesel and dust, but to her, it was a golden chariot. The city awaited, and so did her future, uncertain, untamed, and full of possibility. Lusaka buzzed like a restless drumline. High-rise buildings, swirling traffic, and street vendors painted a chaotic rhythm. Chanda stepped off the bus, feeling like a village bird in a concrete sky. The broadcasting station had arranged a modest guest house, and she arrived to find other contestants chatting excitedly. They wore stylish clothes and held expensive phones. Chanda clutched her small bag tighter. At orientation, a cheerful woman named Miss Bonda welcomed them. "You are all here because your voices stood out among thousands. Don't doubt yourselves." Chanda found strength in that. Her room was shared with two girls from Ndola, who instantly took to her warmth. Her heart ached for her siblings, but Lusaka had begun to sing to her too. The first rehearsal was nerve-wracking. Each contestant performed in front of a panel of judges, including the elusive Tinashe. When Chanda's turn arrived, she stepped forward, heart thumping. As she began to sing, the room hushed. Her voice rose and fell like the river itself, melancholic, graceful, alive. Tinashe locked eyes with her, caught in the melody's pull. For the first time, he felt something pierce his indifference. Chanda finished, breathless, and applause erupted. Yet she remained grounded. Her song wasn't for fame, it was for home. With every performance, Chanda's popularity grew, drawing envy from other contestants. One in particular, Natasha, a fiery soprano from Kitwe, began spreading rumors about Chanda's background. "She's only here because of pity," she sneered. Chanda, though hurt, refused to respond. Instead, she doubled down on her rehearsals. Tinashe noticed and quietly admired her resilience. He asked to coach her personally for the semi-finals. Whispers of favoritism spread, but Chanda focused only on her voice. Music, after all, was her only armor. Chanda finally found time to call home. Nalady's voice was full of excitement. "We heard you on the radio. Everyone in the village is cheering for you." The call ended with a simple plea: "Don't forget why you started." That night, she wrote a song called Zambezi Blues, inspired by the lullabies her mother used to hum. Tinashe helped arrange it with gentle piano. The lyrics were raw, heavy with longing. It would be her semi-final piece and her tribute. The semi-finals were televised nationwide. Chanda stepped onto the stage in a borrowed dress, her hair braided simply. As she sang Zambezi Blues, tears streamed down Tinashe's face. The audience, too, sat spellbound. When she finished, the applause was thunderous. Even Natasha stood, clapping begrudgingly. Chanda had poured her entire soul into that song, and Zambia heard it. During a lunch break, Tinashe opened up to Chanda about his own pain. His mother had died in childbirth, and he blamed his voice for being silent when she needed help. "That's why I buried music until you sang," he confessed. Their bond deep and not romantic yet, but intimate and healing. Chanda realized that pain, when shared, became a bridge. And for the first time, she didn't feel alone in her struggles. Days before the final, a scandal erupted. A tabloid falsely accused Chanda of faking her story for sympathy. An anonymous contestant, likely Natasha, had tipped them. Chanda was crushed. She considered quitting, but Tinashe stood firm. "The only truth that matters is your voice. Let them hear that." The network launched an investigation and cleared her name. The contestants visited their hometowns for a promotional special. Chanda returned to the Zambezi. Greeted by a crowd waving banners, Naledi jumped into her arms. The village chief invited her to sing at the riverbank. As her voice echoed once more across the water, even the elders wept. The spirit of the river had returned, and this time, everyone knew her name. For the finale, each contestant performed an original composition. Chanda wrote River, Rise, a blend of English and Bemba, combining drums, piano, and harmony. She asked Tinashe to play live on stage beside her. Their performance was electric, a dialogue between loss and hope. The audience rose in ovation. The judges' scores were perfect. Chanda had won. Confetti rained down. Cameras flashed. Chanda stood speechless as the announcer declared her the winner. A university scholarship, a recording contract, national fame, yet her thoughts turned to home. She held the trophy, but she had already won long ago when she chose to believe in her voice. Chanda's music career took off. Her debut album, River Songs, topped charts. Interviews, endorsements, and radio tour followed, but she remained grounded, often donating her earnings to schools and widows' programs. Tinashe, now her creative partner, stayed close. Their relationship deepened, not forced, but growing like a tree near water, quiet and strong. Chanda used part of her winnings to start a music school in her village, the Spirit Academy, she called it. Children came from miles to learn instruments and songwriting. It was her way of giving back, of turning her melody into many. Tinashe joined the board. Together, they built something lasting. One evening, after a school recital, Tinashe took Chanda's hand. "You brought music back into my life. I want to spend it with you," she smiled, eyes shimmering. "Only if we write every song together." They weren't perfect, but they were true. In music and in love, they had found healing. Years later, Chanda stood at the same rooftop, this time with Naledi grown and Tumalo studying abroad. Children's laughter echoed from the academy below. She sang once more to the river, her voice steady and full. The wind carried her song beyond the trees. The spirit of the river was no longer a whisper. She was a song known to the world. And so the Zambezi sang back. The end.